Okay, let's just get right into it. What if I told you that the whole idea of balance is the biggest lie, a lie that's keeping you from real success? Today, we are tearing into a philosophy that absolutely pulls no punches. It comes straight from Grant Cardone's Be Obsessed or Be Average. And it gives you a choice, a really stark, no-compromise choice about what it actually takes to win.
And that brings us to the core question, right? You have only two choices in life. This isn't about, finding some cozy middle ground. No, this is designed to force you to pick a side. So be honest with yourself for a second. Which lane are you in right now? Are you in the fast lane, heading towards something great? Or are you kind of stuck in the slow lane, just going with the flow?
So you got to ask yourself, where does all this pressure to just be okay, to just be average, where does it even come from? Well, Cardone says it is not an accident. It's a trap that society's been setting for all of us since we were little kids. Let's dive in and see how this thing actually works.
I mean, think about it. You hear these phrases all the time, right? Things like, be content, don't work too hard, find your balance. And hey, they sound pretty reasonable, maybe even healthy. Don't burn out, just be happy with what you've got. All that conventional wisdom is telling you to just slow down, get comfortable. But Cardone's point is that this is the exact recipe for a mediocre life.
And this right here, this is the main event. That so-called balance that everyone tells you to chase, he says it's not a good thing. It's the enemy of success. It's not a virtue. It's a ceiling you're putting on your own potential. It's like a governor on an engine, It physically stops you from going all out, from ever truly going all in.
Okay, just look at this comparison. It lays it all out, side by side. On one side, you've got the average mindset, that default programming. Be content, be realistic. And that path, well, it leads exactly where you think it does, to an average life. But then, look at the other side, the obsessed mindset. This is a totally different operating system. It's not about being content, it's about being ambitious. It's about actively choosing the pain of growth over the comfort of just staying put. All right, so if being average is the trap, how do you break out? The key? The tool you need is obsession. Now, hold on. I know what you might be thinking when you hear that word, but this is different. We need to redefine what we mean by obsession. And this distinction is absolutely crucial. This isn't about some unhealthy, destructive fixation. No way. We're talking about a healthy obsession. It's a deep, unstoppable passion that you channel toward a specific, positive goal. You're taking all that intense, unstoppable energy and aiming it like a laser beam at whatever you want to achieve. See, it's a superpower, not a weakness.
But you got to protect that fire, because it's fragile. Cardone points out three huge enemies of obsession that can just snuff it right out. First up, your own doubt and that fear of what other people will think. Second, the siren song of comfort and just plain laziness. And the third enemy, this one might be the most dangerous. It's the average-minded people in your life who want to pull you right back down to their level.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? I mean, it's one thing to talk about having the mindset, but you need a practical playbook, right? You need the tools. Well, that's what we're getting into next, the actual nuts and bolts strategy for living this way.
And it all kicks off with this, his famous 10x rule. Set goals 10 times bigger than you think you can reach, and work 10 times harder than everyone else. The whole point is to set goals that seem, frankly, impossible. Why? Because normal goals just get you normal efforts. But when you set a goal that's 10 times bigger, it forces you to think differently, to act differently, to tap into a level of work and creativity you didn't even know you had.
So really, the whole obsessed playbook comes down to these three huge steps. 1, set those crazy 10x goals. 2, adopt an ownership mindset. And 3, use your failures as a catalyst, as fuel. It all starts with setting goals that honestly scare you a little bit. Then, it's about owning everything, no excuses. And finally, you gotta learn to see failure in a whole new light. Let's dig into that.
And that ownership mindset, it's completely non-negotiable. No excuses. I mean, it doesn't matter if the economy is bad, or your partner left you, or your boss is a jerk. You, and only you, own your results, win or lose. You take 100% responsibility for every single outcome. No blaming, no complaining, just ownership.
And then there's failure. This is such a massive mental shift. See, most people are terrified of failing, so what do? They play it safe, they never take the big shot, but in the Obsessed playbook, failure isn't the end. It is proof of movement. It's feedback. It's a sign that you're actually in the game, you're taking action, you're moving. The only real failure is doing nothing at all.
So where does the fuel for all this come from? What keeps you going? Well, it's not just happy thoughts and positive affirmations. Cardone's take is way more raw than that. He says the most powerful motivation often comes from negative stuff. From your dreams, sure, but also from anger, from fear, from scarcity. He says to use that anger you feel about being stuck, use that fear of being average your whole life. You take all that pain and you turn it into rocket fuel.
And that brings us right back to where we started. We've talked about the mindset, we've walked through the playbook, so now the choice is yours. It's all on you.
And let's be totally honest here. An obsessive lifestyle isn't easy. This path is not for everybody. It's incredibly demanding. It's going to require huge sacrifices. That whole idea of balance that everyone talks about, yeah, that's probably the first thing that's got to go. This is an all-in, no turning back kind of commitment.
Which leads us to this final, completely unfiltered message from the book. If you're not obsessed, you're average. And being average is failure. For Cardone, there's just no honorable mention for second place, no cozy middle ground. Being average isn't just okay, it's a type of failure. It's the ultimate regret, the feeling of knowing you left all your best stuff on the table.
So when we wrap this up, the real question isn't if you're going to be obsessed, it's what you're going to be obsessed with. What are you going to point that incredible force towards? What's the goal, the dream, the purpose that is so big, so important, that it's actually worthy of your total, complete obsession? That choice is yours.